enough. The boys have you covered. Here's Jimmy Allen
and John Schreiner.
Happy Tuesday, everybody. Welcome inside the After Hours Lounge. I'm Jimmy Allen. That's John Schreiner. Dan Campinen producing this here joint tonight. He is 1620 the Zone's version of Spike Lee. We are brought to you by Bellevue University. Head over to bellevue.edu, become a Bruin tonight, and register for winter classes today. Speaking of the Bellevue Bruins, their head volleyball coach, Trish Sedlick, is going to join us at 6:15. She has that program rolling in her 19th season. She's going to tell us about the recipe for success that they have down in Bellevue. And if you're thinking about extending your college career as a volleyball player, why you should attend Bellevue University. It is Packer night here on 1620 The Zone. Charles Northcutt will bring the Omaha South girls basketball team in studio at 6:30. And then Ben Gillian, the head coach of the boys team, will be in at 7:30 with as they like to call themselves, Black Man and Robin. Our good friend Randall Crutcher will be here with as the one of Ben Gillian's assistant coaches. That's their verbiage, not mine. And their boys basketball team will be in studio at 7:30. You can get a hold of us at 402-951-1620, and you can get at the show at After Hours 1620. Tell me why I'm canceled now. John Schreiner, it was a great weekend of college football.
It was a fun one.
We're going to do what we were right about, what we were wrong about, and what we just didn't see coming at this portion in the show. And I'll go and start us off because this is something we were both right about.
Mm-hmm.
BYU is the real
They're
deal,
good.
Man.
They're very good.
Not even just BYU. BYU's defense is elite. They literally dared Noah Fafita to beat them, who was one of the best quarterbacks in all of America.
He could not do it.
And for about 2 1/3 of a quarter, it looked like a really bad idea, and then that defense just took over that game, and they asserted themselves and showed everybody why they absolutely belong in the discussion for the college football playoff, and why, in my opinion, they're the team to beat in the Big 12.
Yeah, look, all the evidence points right in that direction at this point in the season. So, yeah, it was a good call by this show. Thank you for listening. If you've been following us, you might have won yourself a little bit of money following along with BYU. What was I right about this weekend? All right. Toot, toot. This is me tooting my own horn.
That's all the segment is about, by the way.
Oregon.
They're good.
Oregon. Hey, who said Oregon was going to win the Big Ten? Who said Oregon was going to beat Ohio State in Eugene?
I old yellered them. I took them out behind the shed and shot them left them for dead.
Everybody threw dirt on them when they had 2 struggles early on in the season. One of them against a very good Boise State team.
But the other one was against Idaho. So
the other one was Idaho.
Let's make sure we tell the complete story.
But you can't throw dirt on good teams just because they struggle early. If they win.
Let me ask you something, though. Because I've been saving this for this moment.
All right.
You've been high on the horse for the past couple days in the group text. That's a different outcome in Columbus, right? And I'm not talking about the end of the game. We'll get to Dan Lanning in a minute.
Yep.
But Ohio State wins that game if it's in the horseshoe.
I mean, what a 3 points is generally home field advantage,
well,
right?
There was a couple of maybe we'll just say friendly rolls through the hoop for Oregon as well. I mean, felt like the Zebras were on their sides a little bit.
Maybe. I mean,
listen, I'm not taking anything away from Dan Lanning and that group. They obviously won that football game, and Will Howard has the biggest egg on his face. And we'll talk about that because we've been calling that since before the season started as well. But that was a pretty big oofed moment.
Yeah, it's you could probably flip the score in the opposite direction. Yeah, they're very close.
I'm not saying Ohio State rolls them by any
They're
stretch
very
of the
close.
imagination.
I think they're very close. And look, we're probably going to see those 2 in the Big Ten championship game.
Yeah, I think that's what most people are feeling, and I want to take a minute to talk about the Will Howard moment because I get what he was trying to do.
Oh yeah,
he was trying to
get it.
He was trying to set up the field goal in the perfect spot, and they knew they had the timeout in their back pocket. No referee is putting that. I don't care if Mac Brown is on the sideline. No officials putting 1 second back on the clock in that situation.
No, it was a huge lapse in judgment. Like if he was going to do it, he needed to take off running immediately.
And that's the one caveat, because I honestly thought that the Oregon student section was going to get onto the 50-yard line before Will Howard got off the field as soon as he started taking it.
Yep. He needed to do it immediately, no time to sit back there and look at your first op. Like you got to run immediately and get down.
And Dan, we'll get to what you're right about. I'm just going to piggyback off John's because what I was wrong about was Ohio State. I said this last week. I thought Ohio State was going to beat Oregon by 2 scores.
Yeah,
and I was clearly incorrect about that. But I'll say this: the quote games, the big games of the year so far, every single one of them has lived up to the hype.
Yeah.
And we get Georgia, Texas this weekend. That's gonna be a
Yep.
pretty special matchup. Dan, what'd you get right this weekend?
Well, I guess I could swing this either way
Sure.
because I was technically right about it. I was also technically wrong about it, and I was also really surprised.
You
by
also
it.
didn't see it coming.
Yeah, did not see it coming. So I was definitely right about Texas.
Hmm.
They are the best team in the SEC at this moment in time right now when I am saying these exact words.
They got the possibility to be the best team in the country, undoubtedly, after Saturday.
I was going to say, because they have played Colorado State, Michigan, UTSA.
Hey, those are your boys.
Not even too
they'll
sure
start,
where
they'll
that
start
is.
hating on Michigan now. Those have been
Michigan, not good.
you've been on the Michigan bandwagon since they hired Sharon Moore.
University of Louisiana Monroe, Mississippi State,
They beat Nick Saban.
who I
once.
wish was better, and Oklahoma this past weekend.
Oh, they throttled them.
Those first two possessions, I was like, Quinn Ewers looking like trash. And then
Yeah, that interception was bad.
It was, I think, the fourth possession when I said, Quinn Ewers.
He's still
He's
really
back.
good. Yeah, he's still really good. Spoiler
Yeah.
alert.
Fudge.
Yeah.
So I was very right about the fact that
Dan,
Texas was going to be the best in that specific game.
Dan and anybody with the last name Manning. Oh, fudge.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Well, I'll tell you, I'm starting to trend towards my wrong being Utah. I was very
Yeah.
high on Utah. I thought they were clearly the best team in the Big 12. Thought they would run the slate in the league, and it just hasn't happened. They haven't been that team. The offense hasn't been good enough. The defense is still really good, but the offense can't keep pace. And look, Utah's probably going to miss out on the Big 12 title game now. Like with that picking
without
up
a
that
doubt.
second loss, I don't think that it's going to take a miracle to even get them to that point. So, my high hopes and big predictions for Utah look like they've gone astray.
I don't want to step on your toes for what you didn't see coming because you might have this in there, but you feel better or worse about Colorado after that loss to K-State? Because I think I feel better. No Travis Hunter for the whole second half, and they probably should have won that game.
Yeah, I don't know. I still feel the same about Colorado. I think that they're a very
Really?
talented and deeply flawed team.
Okay. Dan, what did you get wrong this weekend?
What I got wrong is since the start of the season, I have been saying nothing bad can possibly happen in the SEC, there won't be any controversy in the SEC, but crystal balling it up, I've been wrong about the SEC.
In what way?
These guys are all just cannibalizing the crap out of each other right
Yeah.
now. With LSU having one loss, Ole Miss now having two losses, which, by the way, if you'll remember, I was extremely high on Ole Miss at the start of the season. That's probably going to come back to kick me in the pants once again. Congratulations, Hubert.
Dan loves himself a kick in the pants.
Tennessee with one loss on their record now, Alabama with one loss on their record, and Georgia with one loss on their record as well. And they still all have to play each other in general at some point in time during this season. So the SEC is probably going to be it's going to keep the same exact place that it always keeps within the college football world
As
Yeah.
the best.
the best and the most annoying conference when it comes to playoff time.
I don't even think
Because
it's close,
we're going to
though.
have to listen to Feinbaum say, well, why can't we get 4 SAT teams in the conference the title game?
I think they're going to get 4 in. I don't even think it's going to be debatable. When you look at what Texas has been able to do up to this point, Georgia's going to be in the conversation because of the talent that they have. Alabama, despite that loss to Vanderbilt, still has a track to get into the playoff. LSU is playing a lot better than people thought they were, and Tennessee only has one loss at this point, and they're all in the top 10.
Vandy's starting to not look like a bad loss.
No, not at all. Yeah, and by the way, I think
that's
they win
a
this
stupid
weekend.
thing I never thought
I think
I'd
they're
say.
probably going to be in the top 25 next weekend.
It might be.
By the way, Nebraska shows up in the coaches poll in the top 25 this week.
Yeehaw.
Not in the AP poll. Dan, you want to hate on the? You want to have your weekly hate on the AP poll moment?
No, the AP poll should be coming out now.
Okay. What I didn't see,
Mid-season AP poll is appropriate.
what I didn't see coming was Texas is dominating Oklahoma.
Oh, really?
Listen, I think Texas is good. I think Oklahoma is very mid, but usually in this game, complete blowout very, very, very rarely happens, specifically over the last couple of years. Obviously, not having Dylan Gabriel this year was a pretty big deal. He might be pretty good. It's working out for him out there at Autzen Stadium, but I think I just didn't see a situation where that game was going to go that way, specifically because Quinn Ewers coming back, and I thought he was going to have a little bit of rust on him, but be able to figure it out. I think he's going to figure it out that quickly and that dominantly.
What I didn't see coming was Penn State being this resilient.
Yeah, this is the most resilient Penn State team that James Franklin's had.
That's a team that likes to fold up the lawn chair in the clutch moments, right? Like we have seen this from Penn State, where it is nut cutting time, and they've got no scissors. You know what I mean? Like it's just like that has been Penn State.
When USC took the lead at the end of the game, I was like, oh, well, it's over.
Yeah,
I literally turned it off because I didn't think there was any way they were coming back.
It's this I think Penn State is far better than I expected them to be. Like I fully expected them to go to the Coliseum and lose to a mediocre USC. Like a talented, again, I feel the same way about USC that I do Colorado. It's an incredibly talented but deeply flawed team. And I fully expected Penn State to go out to the Coliseum and lay an egg, and they did not. So like this is a different Penn State team than we have seen in the recent past. So I just didn't see them being that, the clutch gene being there for Penn State.
You know, and maybe the other thing that I didn't see coming, and maybe not just this weekend, but the whole schedule, USC is 3-3.
Dude.
Like, if you had USC going to Minnesota and losing on your bingo card, congratulations, you've won the jackpot. Because I don't think anybody saw that coming. And the SEC teams just making those time zone jumps have struggled so much, and USC being one of those teams, to be able to for Penn State's sake, to your resiliency point, be able to not only battle in a game that goes into overtime, but to do it on such a jet lag schedule and do it from going from one coast to the other.
I mean, you look at USC's remaining schedule.
It's not very strong, but the way the schedule is worked, the way they've kind of folded to their schedule, leaves a lot of question marks out there.
Maryland, we think, is very bad.
Yes.
Rutgers is not as good as Nebraska made them look.
But they have to come to USC.
And they have to go all the way across the country. So that's
got away.
Then you have Washington, who does anyone raise your hand if you know which Washington team is going to show up on a given weekend?
Their defense is they're like Nebraska a year ago. Their defense is really good. They just can't get out of their own way.
Then you have the Nebraska game. Then it's UCLA, who's very bad. And then they get to host Notre Dame.
And Notre Dame may be playing for a playoff spot at that point. Because they're in. Even with the loss to Northern Illinois.
There's a world where USC finishes 6-6.
Buddy, there's a world where USC finishes 5-7.
They're not losing to Maryland, Rutgers, or UCLA.
They could lose to Rutgers. I think
not making that trip all the way from the East Coast.
I don't know, man. Like how much this team can't get out of their own way, and like that defense is so Jekyll and Hyde. I don't know. Like I think they could lose. They could lose. They're going to lose to Notre Dame. They could lose to Nebraska. They could lose to Washington. They could lose to Rutgers.
I don't think they can lose to Rutgers.
They're not losing to UCLA. That's the worst team in the Pac-12 or the Big Ten. Excuse me.
Pac-12.
They're the worst team in the Pac-12 too. Yeah, I just good, Dan. Oh yeah, what did you not see coming? Sorry, we cut you off.
Real quick, before I say this, I would like to put it out there into the ether, because every time I have made this proclamation and given a team my what I haven't seen coming, they turn into a giant turd burger. So, hey guys, don't turn into turd burgers when I say this, but holy mackerel, Iowa State.
Yeah.
All right. You're ranked 11th?
Caleb Polking.
11th, I believe, in the country. 9th in the country. Excuse me. It changed when I clicked on their actual Chiron that they have for their score. So this past weekend, you get a fairly resounding 28-16 win over a West Virginia team that took Penn State all the way to the brink.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of think I'm ready to give Iowa State the crown a little bit here, because they've only got to play Texas Tech, Utah, and Kansas State. I think Cincy, Kansas, and UCF should be easy wins for them.
Well, and
although we can't pin anything up in the Big 12 anymore.
UCF and Cincinnati have to come to Iowa State too. So if Jack Trice is going to be rolling here in the next couple weeks. You got the unofficial Visha week coming up out there in Ames.
It's the Big 12 title game that everyone saw coming. BYU versus Iowa State.
Who both might be undefeated when it happens, too. That's incredible.
There's a really good chance, and this is, I mean, for the Big 12 this year, we talk about the SEC cannibalizing itself, but the Big 12, man. Oh,
Does a 3-loss Georgia team get in over a 1-loss?
3-loss Georgia.
Let's say they've already lost to Alabama. Let's say
Yeah.
they lose to Texas this weekend, and then one other slip up, or possibly
They're not in.
Do they get the nod over a
No,
1-loss?
they're not in.
Hold on. Let's say there's a scenario where the debate is 3-loss Georgia team, where your 3 losses are to Alabama. Let's look at Texas, and what would one of those? Let's just throw it out there. Ole Miss.
Mhm.
Would that Georgia team get in over a 1-loss Iowa State team?
no.
Because they're going to be 5th or 6th in the SEC. They're not getting in.
Man, I still think they may. There's the so yeah, they still have to go to Ole Miss. They still have Tennessee on the schedule, and there's just
I'll go out on a limb here. Unless there's a 3-loss team that wins their conference championship game, there will not be a 3-loss team in the playoff.
Did you feel that way 4 weeks ago?
Yes, I felt that way from the beginning.
I don't know if I necessarily agreed with that, because just the way that I feel like this committee is going to favor the SEC, I still think it's a possibility. We'll see.
I don't believe there will be a 3-loss team in the field.
We got to get to Trish Sedlick, the head coach of the volleyball program down at Bellevue University. If you missed our things we didn't see coming, what we got right, what we got wrong this weekend in college football, check it out at soundcloud.com/after-hours1620, wherever you may find your podcast at. It was brought to you by our good friend Amber Best with Berkshire Hathaway Real Estate. If you're looking to get your house off of the market today, but you've been struggling, work with the best. Work with Amber Best. That's BESS at amberbest.com. She'll help you sell your house and get it off of the market faster than anybody you could hope to have worked with. Head over to amberbest.com tonight and work with the best. We'll be right back. Catch up with the head volleyball coach at Bellevue University here on 1620 The Zone.
Hey, everybody. John Schreiner here for Jerry Ryan Clothing and Sportswear. Are you ready to be the best dressed fan in attendance? You ready? Is your closet ready? If it's not, then you need to get yourself to 78th and Dodge. Check out the great selection of Creighton gear, of Nebraska gear, suits, shirts, jeans, shoes, whatever you need to make yourself the best dressed fan this fall. As we head into the winter, you can find it at Jerry Ryan Clothing and Sportswear. Mizzen and Main, Johnny O, Peter Millar, all the great brands, all with the embroidered Nebraska and Creighton logos on them. You have done such a great job responding to our calls to get over there. You bought out an entire rack of Nebraska gear. They had to make a second order, first time they've had to do that. So thank you all for patronizing the businesses that keep us on the air here at After Hours. And a big thanks to Jerry Ryan for being one of our fine sponsors of this program. It's Jerry Ryan Clothing and Sportswear, 78th and Dodge, dressing Omaha for over 50 years.
The dream of playing the sport you love may be closer than you think. The Bellevue University Athletic Department proudly sports the best scholarship funding among NAIA programs in the state. To compete with the best, we need to recruit the best. All incoming freshmen earn a $5,000 scholarship when they enroll at Bellevue University. Learn more by looking us up at BUBruins.com and reach out to your future coach today.
Ready to make a positive impact in a young boy's life? Join Big Brothers Big Sisters of the Midlands and become a mentor where you are matched up with a boy in the greater Omaha area. Over 50 boys are waiting for someone like you to guide and inspire them. Visit mentoromaha.org and sign up to make a difference in a boy's life. Don't wait, make a lasting impact today.
Criminal, civil, personal. If you or a loved one is facing a lawsuit, let Williams Law represent you and your family today. With more than 20 years litigation experience in Nebraska, Williams Law will defend you with the dedication you deserve. If you're facing a DUI or if your son or daughter has been accused of a crime, Williams Law is here for you. Call 402-522-6317 to get a free, no obligation consultation and to get the representation you deserve today.
.615 on a Tuesday night here on 1620 The Zone, brought to you by Bellevue University. If you want to keep up to date on all things Bellevue athletics, download the BU Bruins app to your smartphone tonight. Joining me now is the head volleyball coach at Bellevue University, Trish Sedlick, joins us. Coach, thanks for being here. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
You guys are absolutely rolling right now. You guys haven't lost a game since the end of September. Why is this team clicking on all cylinders since the calendar flipped to October?
Well, we've had 17 returners, which is crazy. When you normally, a normal volleyball team, I would say even normal, but the rosters are getting bigger. We just have a very veteran group. A transfer and a freshman were added to this year's squad. So the freshman had to learn very fast, and the transfer played like a veteran as well. So she had a lot of experience under her belt coming in as a junior.
When we talk about the doom and gloom of college athletics and the sky is falling and big TV money for Division I football, et cetera, how much is the NAIA level being affected by the transfer portal, by the movement? Obviously, Bellevue's other programs have moved conferences as well. How much have you guys seen the effect of the movings of college athletics at this level?
I don't know. At least in volleyball, is kind of a family-oriented
Sure.
type of recruiting. You hear Cook talking all the time about how proud he was with his group, not kind of jumping ship for the transfer portal and so on. So I think from our standpoint, the culture is developed very early, and that either makes it to where the team is on board, developing and investing in each other throughout, and then that carries to the court. As far as the NCAA, I think the new one that I would say was kind of I wonder if this will affect us at NAI is getting rid of the letter of intent now.
Yeah.
The semester to semester. I know here at Bellevue, it is a 1-year contract. And I think that we do a very good job of making sure that I wouldn't say you gotta mess up pretty bad to lose your scholarship here, but
Sure.
we take care of the athletes around here, not just in my program, but across the board with our all of our athletic teams.
Walk us through what it sounds like when you have a young lady either coming to your office or you're sitting in her home or either or. You've been at Bellevue for 23 years, 19 years as the head coach. How much of a selling point is that for you when you're talking to somebody about coming to play for the Bruins?
Well, first and foremost, it has to be a good fit for both parties. Second of all, if volleyball wasn't in their future, or again cut short due to an injury, could they still see themselves at Bellevue? And not every kid can say that. We'd like to say that we have had those folks that have stuck around and finished out their degree, but it has to be a good fit on both ends. Unselfish. As far as I used to do home visits, it's getting a little harder now that I have a family, so I do make sure that even with Zoom nowadays, we get those one-on-one visits, check out their personalities and how they learn on the court and off the court. And then I think the biggest one now is the mental health side of things, and just making sure that do we have emotional intelligence? Are we someone that, if we were to not have them as a starter, or if they were to be subbed out in our club team that I help with, was just talking about this other day, are you still emotionally in check, that you can work through those things and still have a role, whether it's be on the bench, role acceptance, being someone like on the brink of breaking into a sub situation or a starter situation. So we really have to have good role acceptance. And if we have someone if we're not seeing that from them, because anything can happen year to year, then I don't know if they're a great fit here.
You look down your roster and you see Marion, Millard South, Johnson Brock. I mean, just littered with Nebraska talent. How important is it for you to be able to recruit the metro area?
I think it's great because we have families in the stands. I know we have a couple Hawaiian kiddos, a few Hawaiian kiddos, Vegas, Minnesota. So it's wonderful to see those families be able to see their child play, and then also kind of adopt others on the team for that family atmosphere. Is it something that we will continue to do? Absolutely. Do we strike out? Yep, because not everyone wants to stick around here. I think some folks around Nebraska want to get out and explore, but I know that we have had players like that come back and call us and say, okay, I want to come back home with a couple of our Bellevue West kiddos.
Sure.
So I think we're an established volleyball program for sure, that if someone were to say, hey, it didn't work out, that we could be one of their first phone calls. As far as the high school kiddo, I think a couple of our programs here on campus have really done a great job of selling it for me. Like, I haven't had to do much especially with our biology department. So they've done a wonderful job. And a lot of those majors are definitely on the list of most females.
We're catching up with Trish Sedlick, the head coach of Bellevue University's volleyball program, here on After Hours. Coach, you brought them up a minute ago, but I want to talk about Mila and Leah Iawahi, your two players from Hawaii that you just mentioned. Obviously, they're sisters and they're a couple years apart. When you're talking to a family like that and you know there's a younger sibling, is there ever a concentrated effort that, hey, we could make this a package deal while we're at it as well?
You know what? They're twins, actually. So,
are they? Okay, I'm sorry. I thought one was older.
so
I apologize.
Ray is not their sister. So we have 3 Hawaiian players. So
Okay.
Ray is the senior, and then the twins are actually sophomores. So how we recruited them, it was off an online kind of service.
Sure.
Normally I don't click on those. So being recruited, not a lot of coaches click on those. Sometimes we dabble in it, and I just happened to pick up those 2 and watched, but for all 3 of them. Package deal. Yes. As a mom, I was not going to just offer one twin. I knew going in, I was going to offer both, and turns out that they're both awesome.
Yeah.
Ray is an only child, and she the only thing I told her is, if you want to come out here, visit, you get yourself out here, and we'll try it. And we're sold right off the bat.
I got the opportunity to do the PA for you guys a couple weeks ago, and I was blown away with the attendance. Now, I do the play-by-play for the men's and women's basketball games as well, and it just, I don't know why, but it staggers me every time I walk into the den and I look at that west-facing wall and it's completely full. What's the support been like through this? I mean, you guys are 3/4 the way through the season. What's the support been like from the community thus far?
Oh, well, awesome to say the least. So we do we offer up some grade schools to come out and go and get them some pizza, and then
Sure.
they come in and bring their little kids group in. I believe that night there was a little kids team in, and I'm so sorry. I think it's a Bellevue school. But actually Bernadette's. The couple of those kids got us some points easily just on their high pitched screams. So
Yeah, it was jam packed in there.
with the last year of the lead center, or sorry, not the lead center, the Logier Center.
Yeah,
I
they're
think
close in proximity.
yeah, that too. I think I'll miss the closeness of it,
Yeah.
for sure. But definitely excited with the new building. But I think that we have a great following along with clubs, grade schools, just parents that have like their little kids to come in. And what I love the most is when they tell me if it's their first collegiate game or their first volleyball game to come watch with their kiddos, because I know that we just hooked them. So it's really cool to hear that.
Talk to me about your senior leadership. I mean, you already talked about it a little bit, but with somebody like Eve Fountain Sydney Sledge, it feels like Eve's been there for 4 years. She's only a junior, but with girls like Sydney Sledge and Taylor Kiefer that are major impact players for this team, what does the senior leadership on this team mean to your group?
Well, you are correct. Eve's been here for 5 years, so she has a couple red shirts.
Okay, yeah, I thought I was losing
Yep.
it for a minute. I was like, I swear she was at Millard South like 10 years ago.
Yeah, we call her grandma for sure.
Yeah.
Taylor in her 5th year. The rest of them are our 4-year kiddos, with Haley, Sid, and Ray. Our leadership is probably one of. I mean, we've had some great leaders over the years. This is pretty diverse with leader by example, leader by organization, leader of just kind of the motherly figure, leader by having humor and just keeping it light, and then kind of the silent, energetic, easy-go-lucky leadership. So I just described every single one of them. And what they do a great job of recognizing with our team when we need some love, when we need some rest, when we need some talking to, or when we need some coaches, we got to get a little tougher in practice. So we have a board, we call the Bruin board, and it's made up of 5 elected kiddos, and it's not just the seniors. So we have some underclassmen as well representing, and they give us that those kind of behind the scenes, this is where we're at, and they have the freedom to come in and speak with our coaching staff, and then we listen. And I think that's the hardest part sometimes as a coach. You want to have your own way and you want to have your own thing. And I think what I've learned the most in probably the last few years is just to keep listening to them and kind of decipher what is best for the group, or is this just an individual request, or are we really, is this going to help benefit the whole group? So I think that group has done a great job, along with the seniors, and unselfish on the seniors, because not all seniors are on this group. And we don't elect captains, and I think that's one thing that I've changed over the years. If you're going to lead, you're going to lead. If you're going to lead by example, or if you're going to lead naturally, people will flock to you. And I think we've just had to maybe fine tune sometimes of how you lead properly, and when you don't want to lead too much on emotion.
You guys won the North Star Athletic Conference back in 2020, so you know what it takes to get it done. The one blemish in the conference is that sweep loss to Jamestown back a few months ago. You guys get Jamestown on the schedule to round out the month of October. You got a couple more before you get there, but is that one circled a little brighter on the calendar?
It's senior day. Not there. I know we're not happy about that one, but we wanted to get some parents in on for that day. I would say again, Jamestown has always been a powerhouse, well coached. It is their last year here with the NAIA. Actually, they're going Division II, so we were graciously enough to add them in when they were asked to leave the GPAC.
Yeah.
You're very welcome, Jamestown.
Yeah.
But no, the great program. We played horrible that day, and I think that's what the message was when we walked out, is how horrible we played. And
Is that ever like okay, sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but
No, you're fine.
we hear oft the time that teams need to lose to kind of get a kick in the pants, right? Is that is that one of those situations? Because you look at that and say, okay, we got better because of this loss?
I don't know if about needing to lose.
Okay.
I would say it was almost like the yips on that match.
Sure.
It was a little different way of losing. The first few points, we had them scouted to a T. We were up by 8. And I think that there's a couple players that will say, Trish, you're talking about me. But so, no.
And your response is, yes, I am.
yeah, no. It wasn't your best. No. Again, we have a pretty loose group, knowing that we can talk like that, but no blame is pointed. And I think that it was a combination of they exploited our weaknesses pretty fast, and not in general, but just like it picked apart each set a different weakness. And so I think we're feeling confident. We love to say here at Bellevue, we love our ceiling. If you've been to our gym, the ball sometimes hits that ceiling pretty fast, and play it well. We're not going to have that luxury anymore for some points. But yeah, I think we'll be prepared for sure.
This Thursday, you can get down to the Gordon Lozier Athletic Center and catch. Oh, I'm sorry, that's an away game. Sorry, get down to the Gordon Lozier Center next Friday, the 25th. Dickinson State comes down, catch Trish Sedlick's volleyball club in action at 6 p.m. Against Dickinson State. Hopefully, everybody can make it down there and make the den extra loud next week. Coach, we appreciate it. Good luck out through the remainder of the season. Maybe another championship run.
Thank you very much.
That's the head coach, Trish Sedlick from Bellevue University. We're going to be catching up with Charles Northcutt, the head coach of the Omaha South girls basketball team, on the other side of the break. We come back here on 1620 The Zone. If you missed our conversation with Coach Sedlick, check it out at soundcloud.com/afterhours1620. It was brought to you by our friends at Controlled Comfort Heating and Air. Listen, I've told you 100 times. I'll continue to tell you about my experience with Controlled Comfort. We were out in LA for the Bud Crawford fight. My AC unit took a dive. We got Controlled Comfort on the phone. They were at my house within an hour. They had the problem diagnosed and fixed an hour after that. You can't beat Controlled Comfort Heating and Air. Head over to controlledcomfort.com and book a maintenance appointment with Tony and the team. We'll be right back, catching up with the girls basketball program from Omaha South here on 1620 The Zone.
After spending another summer on your deck dealing with the harsh sunshine, hot temperatures, and all-around unpleasantness, maybe it's time to start thinking about upgrading your deck to something a little finer with Forsman's Finest Decks. Forsman's Finest Decks is pretty good at building covered decks or patios to give you more shade for cookouts, hangouts, or even enjoying a game on TV. Start by booking your new deck for the spring of 2025. Family-owned Forsman's Finest Decks are the finest decks you can find. Find Forsman's Finest Decks at forsmansfinest.com.
Hi, I'm Amber Bess. If you're searching for a real estate advisor who is a skilled problem solver, Amber
.643 on a Tuesday night here on 1620 The Zone, brought to you by Bellevue University. If you want to keep up to date on all things Bellevue Athletics, download the BU Bruins app to your smartphone tonight. We're talking to the least nervous man in all of the Omaha metro area, Charles Northcutt, the head coach of the girls basketball program over at Omaha South. Coach, appreciate you being here.
Oh, appreciate you having us.
Repeat offender. We had you in here when you took the job. You are now just a few months into this process and just a few weeks away from the start of the season. What's different about this job tonight than when you took it a few months ago?
Ooh, super different. The most different thing is that came in kind of gun ho last year because we had we had 10 young ladies, I want to say, that have played the game for a while. So I came in just gun ho, ready to get started. And this year, we have a nice little crew, great kids, young freshmen. We got a lot of freshmen, about 10 to 15 freshmen. So younger, it's going to be younger this year. Last year we had seniors, so we had a little more experience. This year is going to be a little less experience, but it's going to be fun.
When you're talking about starting out a season with a younger, less experienced team, what are some of the key things that you like to push like early on to get them going in the right direction?
Just committing to it, just being confident and coming and make sure they're participating. Conditioning, pushing the part of conditioning, getting our bodies in shape. Then skill work, working on skill work, developing, learning how to, just basic skill work, passing, dribbling, post moves, shots, things of that nature.
When you talk about participation and when you have as many moving bodies as you guys do, it's not like you have a small roster. Obviously, your assistants help out with that as well. Who are some of the assistants that help make this program go?
Oh, I got to go with my A+, assistant, Taylor Pocock, number one assistant I have, number one assistant in the Metro. Matter of fact,
Coach Pocock, you can't see this, but the rest of the team is applauding you for off camera right now.
Just to keeping me going, keeping the kids going, inspiring them, sending little inspirations that she does, Instagram work, just being there. Anything I asked her to do, she's got it. She's on it. So Coach Pocock, Coach O'Donnell, he's the lively guy of the squad. Kind of keeps us laughing, makes us not be so serious. Because last year I got a little serious last year. Try to figure it out. Then we got a newcomer, Coach Tibbs. She's going to be with us, so she's real good. And the young lady told me before we came what they liked about her is that she very inspiring. Gets out there, just kind of motivates them more to move.
Is there anybody within the building itself that is kind of behind the scenes that helps as well, that maybe deserves a shout out or two?
I'm gonna say G-Dub. He always got our back. Anything we need, he's behind the scenes, very quiet. That's our AD.
Yeah,
our
yeah.
athletic director.
We've had Mike on the show a couple times.
Okay,
Yeah.
he's great with that, man. Just making sure we got everything we need, gear wise. Like tonight, was able to jump in the van to bring the girls out.
Very cool.
Just having that guy there is awesome.
Well, let's talk to a couple of players you brought with you. Nalaya Barnum joins us in studio. And Nalaya, I got to let you know, I'm alumni. So you got to make sure you do a good job tonight, okay? That microphone moves. You can bring it down to you if you need to. There you go. Nalaya's at least 6'5", 6'6", right? Somewhere in that range. Hey, you're heading into your sophomore season. What will be different about your second year at the high school level than it was as a freshman?
What will be different is that I'll be more focused on my mindset on basketball and dribbling, and more focused on my team. And yeah,
everybody kind of has a story of how they got into a particular sport, right? Like there was either a family member or a friend or somebody who got you interested in your sport or hobby. What about you? Who got you into basketball? What's the story there?
my stepdad.
His name is
Carlis.
Shout out to Carlis. Sorry, go ahead.
He watches basketball 24/7. He talks a lot about it. He tells me a lot, and I always been really interested in it, so I joined.
What was your biggest focus in the offseason? What are you trying to be better at this year than you were a year ago?
I want to be more focused on my team and being there and participating. And I want to be focused on being there and
yeah. Well, we appreciate you being here tonight. Thank you very much. Go ahead and take a step up to the side. We'll talk to Ritzy, who joins us in studio. Ritzy Borboa joins us. Let me ask you, for you, we saw you play sparingly a year ago. What's something what do you think your biggest impact on this team this year will be? More of a important role.
Well, of course, we have new faces this year. We lost a lot of girls, so I think communication will be a big part this year. And of course, I want to become better, and get more points up. And I feel like that's one of the biggest impact this year is going to be. I feel like
you play in the post. What's your favorite part about playing down low?
I'd say it's the contact.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm a taller player. I'm able to, have more fun down there. I also like the competition, being able to compete with other girls.
Battling for the boards, yeah.
Yeah.
What's something you'd like to improve about your game personally before the season starts?
Definitely ball handling. That's one of my...
All right, you can't be Butterfingers out there.
Yeah, And then, of course, I want to improve my moves, Of course, that's a big part of being a post, getting better in the paint.
Your footwork?
My footwork, yes, of course. Speed as well.
What about this group of teammates that you got this year? How you feel about the group?
Yeah, of course we lost many players, but we also gained a lot of young faces this year. We're going to be a young team. I love all the girls. We've already made a bunch of connections during conditioning, and yeah, I think we're going to be pretty good this year. We have a lot of communication already, and I'm excited to see how the year is going to go this year.
Well, thanks for being here and good luck this winter. We'll go over to Aaliyah, who joins us in studio as well. Aaliyah Mora is with us tonight. Just 7 games played a year ago. How does your role change on this team this year?
Well, I'll say that I'm going to be out on the court a lot more now. So it's going to be a lot more ball handling, a lot more shooting, and a lot more decisions to make than last year.
Who do you think would win in a jump ball between you and Nalaya?
Probably her.
Jimmy mentioned you saw some limited minutes a season ago. What did you learn in your sophomore season just by watching?
I learned how to handle the ball better and what to do and not to do, and quick to listen and slow to respond.
Yeah, it's good.
What are some of the things that you've taken from this coaching staff that you've learned that maybe you didn't know about the game beforehand?
Really,
You don't know? That's fine. That's okay. Maybe we'll get that later in the season when you guys are playing for a state championship.
Let's go to this one then. What do you think the most important things that this team has to work on as we head towards the start of the season?
Communication.
Yeah.
And bonding. less drama, and more just getting along with each other, to be honest.
Yeah, it takes that connection, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, that was Aaliyah Branch. Leah, thank you for being here. We greatly appreciate it. We go to Lily Moore, who joins us in studio. Lily, you were talking about him beforehand. What's your boyfriend's name?
Oh, okay. Shout out Ty Roddy.
Okay, there you go. Just want to make sure we got him in there. What does it mean for you to be a senior leader on this team?
Last year I was really intimidated a lot by the seniors, but they took me under their wing really quick, and I kind of want to be someone for these girls coming in this year who they can talk to, but also like have respect for and learn from, because I'll be gone next year, and I want them to kind of carry the lessons I've taught them throughout their careers.
Is that a big deal for you?
Somewhat.
Okay,
I think
no,
I'll
that's
be
very
only
important.
senior
Yeah,
this
that's very
year,
cool.
so-
Yeah.
How do you go about exhibiting those leadership qualities that you're talking about?
Well, when the coaches say something, a lot of the girls want to just, mess around. They are freshmen. A lot of them are freshmen.
Yeah.
I kind of check them. Not aggressively, but
You have to.
when it comes from your teammate, I feel like they're more understanding when they see an upperclassman doing something.
It's peer pressure. Yeah.
Yeah, like good peer pressure,
What defines success for you this season?
I just want to leave a good mark in the Packer community. I want to show true camaraderie and really show who I am as a player, because I didn't really get that opportunity last year. So
You excited for that this year?
I am.
You lit up a little bit when you said that.
Yeah.
So, what areas of the game are you hoping to be better in this year?
Overall, just my confidence on the court. In practice, I do really good, and then I get out in games, and I just kind of lose all my focus. I forget the plays.
It's easy to
my ball
do.
handling just goes out the window. So it's ultimately my confidence.
How do you fix that this year? Just more reps?
I work a lot after practice. I talk to the coaches more. I'm more comfortable with them too. And like I said, last year's seniors really taught me a lot.
Well, that's Senior Lily Moore. Thank you for being here tonight,
Yeah,
Lily.
thank you guys.
We have a special guest with us tonight. Eva Grant is with us. She's the team manager. What is your role in this team, and why do you want to be a part of this group?
Get the basketballs.
Okay, yeah, that's important. Kind of need those.
Yeah.
What made you want to be the team manager for this group?
More friends. And,
Sure.
Like, I'm really close with all of them. So.
Well, very cool. Well, thank you for coming in here and being a part of the team with us tonight, too. Coach, we'll go back over to you to wrap this up. We're catching up with Coach Charles Northcutt and the girls basketball team from Omaha South here tonight. How does this team as a whole define success for you this year?
Just find success, just the smiles that's on their face. It's that they're willing to work and get better. That's fine success for me. Just them coming in, being ready to go, and they're enjoying what they do.
What's been the best part of this job since you took it?
Best part is watching the kids develop.
Yeah.
Development. You know what I'm saying? Watching them. Take for instance this summer, and I should probably be like, "Wow, why are you doing that to me?"
Hey, can you take one step forward real quick?
Yeah, one step forward.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yep.
So this summer we did a little workout, some workouts this summer, and we had a couple young ladies that showed up every time. They went from not making a free throw at all to making 10 free throws before the summer was over.
Sure.
It's just watching that.
A few of them disagree with you, but
Just watching. They didn't want to tell that story, but I didn't call them names out. But we had some kids that came in, and
that's incredible.
so that's what I like to see.
A couple of the girls have just talked about the interest in the game and picking the game up for the first time. How many of your players for the first time walking into a gym are playing organized basketball for the first time?
To be totally honest with you, playing organized basketball at Omaha South on the girls' side, we probably have, I'm going to say like 3.
3, okay.
To be honest, but last year, that's what I said. Last year we had.
Is that fun for you though? Because it's new clay, right? You're able to mold it the way they don't have bad habits that have been taught by maybe a different staff or something of that nature.
That's going to be the beauty right there.
Sure.
That's what when you got those one that's been there before and think they know more than what you know.
Yeah.
That's what we had a problem with. It's like they want to see you think that they know more than you. And these kids out are molding, and they can understand that we do have the skills.
You didn't have to look at Lily when you said that. Coach, we appreciate it. As always, anytime you need to come in, we'd love to have you. And we appreciate you guys all making the stop in tonight. That was the Omaha South girls basketball program. If you missed their segment tonight, check it out at SoundCloud.com/afterhours1620. It was brought to you by our friends at Cunningham's Pub. We always tell you about Wing Wednesday. That's tomorrow. If you want to stop by Cunningham's for free on us tomorrow, stop by our Twitter page at After Hours 1620. Retweet the gift for our wings tomorrow night on a Wing Wednesday. You're going to get entered to a drawing to win a $25 gift card to one of Cunningham's 2 great locations. You can use it whenever you want. Maybe you want to stop by on a Sunday for their brunch menu and Sunday ticket and catch all the NFL games. You can do that at either location, either out at 108th and Old Mill or down in the historic Blackstone District. We're going to find out what's trending on social media with Dan Campen, and we come back on 1620 The Zone. Hey, everybody, it's Jimmy Allen here for Forsman's Finest Decks. It's a little bit late into the fall season. Maybe you're thinking about spring, and you're like, you know what? We need to add something to our house to stand out and be different on our block. You can do it with a deck from Forsman's Finest Decks. They'll come build you a deck, put a cover on it, add that something your house has been missing. Head over to forsmansfinest.com and have your dream deck built in 2025. $7 o'clock on a
It's true.
Tuesday night here at 16.
He does.
Brought to you by Bellevue University. If you want to keep up to date on all things Bellevue athletics, download the BU Bruins app to your smartphone tonight. We got to run through this really quickly, although I wanted to talk at length about this because it was something today. Dan Campen, it's time for the social media soundbite. What do you got for us?
Well, speaking of known liars,
I will give Jerry Jones that. He does have a little bit of a point there at the end. Like, if you're going to ask me about all the things that have gone wrong, maybe in this situation, it's okay to throw me a softball about some things that have gone right as well. Problem with that is, there haven't been that many of them the last couple of weeks specifically. You just got
in the last 30 years.
boat raced by the Lions on Sunday.
Hasn't been a lot of rights in the last 30 years.
That was the most uncomfortable laugh I've ever heard in my life, by the way. It was like, oh, should we actually be concerned about our jobs right now?
Well, I think it's funny, too, because this all was based off of the question prior to it about their lack of aggressiveness in the offseason and, going out and searching for those talents, which is a fair question.
Is it? Because this is the same. Listen, this is the same people that are like, well, when are you gonna pay our wide receiver? When are you gonna pay our quarterback? Well, they got paid, and this is what you get from those paychecks.
Yep.
It's a fair question, Jimmy, because in the offseason, the first thing out of Jerry Jones's mouth was, we're going to be aggressive. We're going to be aggressive.
That's true. That's a good
and
point.
We're sticking to the plan. We're going to be an aggressive team this offseason. And then they did all offseason and didn't build anything outside of it.
Big checks, though.
Listen.
Congratulations. That's what you're supposed to do. You're Jerry Jones. You're supposed to write a couple of big checks.
You know who's not wrong? Jerry Jones is not wrong. And you know why I'll tell you why he's not wrong. He owns the team. He can do with it as he pleases.
It's true.
It's his franchise. His decisions are final. He gets to do with his franchise whatever he wants. He can say anything he wants about the company that he owns, which is the Dallas Cowboys. He can tell everyone to go fly a kite if he wants to, right? He doesn't have to do the interviews. He doesn't have to explain anything to you if he doesn't want to. Jerry Jones is not wrong. You aren't going to figure out what's wrong or right with the team by sitting behind a microphone. You aren't. Only Jerry Jones can figure out what's wrong or right with the team. And he's been not good enough at it for that franchise for a long time.
I will disagree with that sentiment just a little bit because he didn't have to do this interview.
No,
he does not have to do all the press he wants.
Doesn't have to.
Listen, if you don't want to ask the tough questions, if you want all the glory when you're winning, if you want to be able to look at those Super Bowl trophies and say, I did that, well, when you're not winning, you got to be able to face the music a little bit.
No, he doesn't have to.
You
just said he doesn't
You're right, he doesn't
to.
have to, but he chooses to. And if you're going to stand in front of the microphone, if you're going to call into this radio show every single week, don't expect just softball questions, especially when your team gets boat raced by the Lions.
Yeah, I mean, I get it, but look, it's his company. If he wants to run it into the ground, he can run it into the ground.
Yeah, but if you don't want to answer the questions or be asked the questions about running into the ground, maybe just don't call into the show. What do you want him to do?
Listen,
do you want the people behind the mic who you just watched you lose 47-9 at home to go, hey, why are we so good? I don't know what you were expecting from a question standpoint.
And look, everybody has the right to ask the question. Like you can ask it. And then he has the right to say whatever he wants about the question that you just asked. Like that's how this works. He owns the company. You can ask him the questions. If he doesn't want to answer it, he doesn't have to. And he can call you a flaming turd on his way out the door if he feels like it.
Offer to fire you on the way out, by the way.
That's how this works.
If you missed the social media soundbite tonight, check it out at soundcloud.com/afterhour1620. It was brought to you by Pixel Fire Marketing. Dan, you and I are lockstep here. Speaking of being lockstep, if you want your company to be lockstep with your social media presence online, check out pixelfiremarketing.com. They'll design you a website. They'll build you some advertising for whatever social media platform you want, whether it's Facebook, whether it's Instagram, whatever it may be. They can give you the ideal presence online. Check out pixelfiremarketing.com for more details. We buy and sell on plot twists. On the other side of the break, we come back here on 1620 Zone. Hey, everybody, it's Jimmy Allen here for AX Plumbing. Twice in the last 6 months, Nick Betts and his crew have saved my rear end by coming out and getting quick, fast plumbing work done. My 3-year-old is raging a war against the pipes in my house, and she is winning, and she's causing me more headaches than I want. If you want a less out of a headache out of your plumbing problems, work with AX Plumbing. All you got to do is head over to axpservice.com. There's even financing available if maybe you can't afford to fix your plumbing issues right now. Nick and the team will work with you to get your ideal situation for your plumbing problems tonight. Check out axpservice.com for more details. Top of the second hour here on 1620 The Zone, brought to you by Pyramid Contractors. If you need your roof, windows, gutters, or siding replaced, go with that beautiful white dog you see on the side of the trucks. You've seen Rufus around town. Have them come out and repair your roof. Head over to pyramidroof.com and book a free estimate today. It is Dan Campenon's portion of the show where we let him out of the box, let him spit hot fire.
Dan.
Call it M. Night Shyamalan, because obviously he's taken over the timeline, and we can all say, what a twist! Nobody saw this coming. Davante Adams has been traded to the Jets.
What?
Say it ain't so.
No way.
Buy or sell that this is even a big deal.
It's not. You know why it's not a big deal? Because Davante Adams does not play left guard.
Yeah.
The problem with the Jets is not their wide receiver crew. It's not their quarterback. It's not even their running back. Breece Hall is a dude.
He's good. He's real good.
Their offensive line could not block a cold.
Colds are hard to block. You know that.
That's true. It's a good point. That was very topical. That offensive line is trash, and it's not going to matter.
Yeah. I mean, it's a big deal from the standpoint that it's a major trade. This is a big time trade,
and that's the end of the deal.
And they didn't even give up very much to get him. A conditional 3rd round pick that could rise to a 2nd. Like that's essentially nothing for a player of his caliber.
The way it's going right now, Aaron Rodgers is not going to finish the season.
Dude, he's getting rocked on the reg.
There are times where he looks like Aaron Rodgers, and then there's times where he looks very 40 years old, and it has to do with him having to run away from NFL caliber linebackers.
He's not that same athletic quarterback that can evade the rush for 7 seconds and launch a ball downfield.
Not happening.
And I'm going to let you in on a fun little secret, John. He was never that athletic of a quarterback.
He was decent.
His entire
He was
time,
athletic. He could evade. He wasn't fast. Being athletic and fast are not the same thing.
That is true. That is true, I guess. But he just had so much more help back in the day. And yes, this is a very big deal.
Well, he brought all of them with him to New York. The problem is they're all 4 years older.
Yeah, he's got a great new guy in at one of the skill positions that he's hopefully still has a little bit of chemistry with and still can do it with. I think it'll be a great
Garrett
1-2
Wilson?
punch.
Great if you could throw him the football.
Garrett Wilson's not that good.
Oh, Garrett Wilson's really
Stop
good.
it. No, Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron
Rodgers is just not throwing him the football.
Garrett Wilson is really good.
Garrett Wilson made Zach Wilson look like an NFL quarterback.
He'll be a great 1-2 punch with the greatest receiver on the Jets currently by the name of Allen Lazard. Because that is
really
the only
bad
person that Aaron Rodgers will toss the ball to for some reason.
I think I'd take Mike Williams over Allen Lazard.
I take a lot of people over Allen Lazard, but if I'm Aaron Rodgers, I'm taking Allen Lazard because I know that I can toss him the ball for some reason.
We'll take question number 2.
It's all very confusing. Speaking of number 2, Travis Hunter left in the second quarter of the K-State game on Saturday. Never came back. Colorado lost 31-28, and Coach Prime has said Travis should play on Saturday for sure. Buy or sell, Travis Hunter will play against Arizona on Saturday.
I sell. I mean, the fact that he didn't come back into that game and he's dealing with a shoulder injury for a guy that has as much contact in a game as he has. Listen, here's the thing. Colorado didn't look like they were missing a whole lot when he was. Now, he's one of the best players in America. I'm not trying to say that him being gone isn't a big deal for Colorado.
Shadur's terrible interceptions lost him that game.
I was going to say Travis Hunter not being out there, and maybe him not having Travis Hunter as a blanket,
as a bailout,
as a security blanket is what caused it. But I don't think he plays in this game.
I think you can bring him back as a wide receiver and just keep him on one side of the ball.
Yeah,
and maybe lessen the amount of blows that he has to deliver.
Good luck with that, though, man. Like that dude seems like he would be a guy that you're not going to have an easy time keeping.
I'm actually buying because I for that exact reason. I don't think you can keep him off the field.
And I sell simply for the fact that known liar Deion Sanders is telling you one thing and another thing is going to happen.
Why is everybody a known liar?
If Travis Hunter is playing on Saturday, it will be because Travis Hunter wants to play.
I agree with.
Moving on to number 3, the Bills. Yes, the other side of your Monday Night Football game last night, they've landed Amari Cooper in a trade with the Browns. Buy or sell that this is what can put them over the top. The Bills, that is.
I sell. I mean, listen, they had Stephon Diggs. That didn't get him over the top. And I think Stephon Diggs is a
locker room cancer.
But I think he's a better player. So I don't know if Amari Cooper is the guy that you can point at and say, this is what's going to put. I think the thing that's going to put them over the top is Josh Allen delivering in the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think Amari Cooper hasn't had a quarterback since he left Dallas.
That's a good point.
Like, just facts.
Yeah. Where did he play at? Oh, yeah, the mistake by the lake.
Yeah. I don't know that if it's what puts them over the top, as you put it. Like
Dan put it.
Well, you said it doesn't put them over the top.
Oh, okay.
I don't think for that, from that phrasing, does this put them over the top to get them above Kansas City? Like, I don't think so. I don't think that's what does it. But it certainly helps, right? It gives them a true number one wide receiver because, like, I was really high on Keon Coleman coming into this season, and he's just not there yet. Like, I'm not ready to bury him. I'm not throwing dirt on him.
That half-hour conversation?
But he's just not quite there yet. So this gives them Amari Cooper to take pressure off of the rest of that receiving core, draw some coverage to him. I think Amari Cooper can still be really good.
That sounded a lot like Jimmy was right. Dan, what's numero cuatro?
By the way, this will push the Bills over the top. Josh Allen is an amazing player, and Patrick Mahomes is not going to have the same kind of season that he thinks he's going to have in the back half.
They're 5-0.
That being said, they'll probably make the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
We were spoiled this weekend in college football, but this week we get Georgia at Texas. There are big shoes to fill after Ohio State and Oregon this past weekend. Buy or sell, Georgia at Texas could steal game of the year.
First of all, Dan, you spelled the word steal wrong in this context. Secondly,
I was thinking of beams, like the ones that jet fuel can't melt.
Secondly, I sell. Listen, I think that Georgia Texas might actually disappoint some people. I don't know how anybody's going to be able to top Oregon, Ohio State.
I'm in agreement. I think like it's going to take a monumental game to take over what we saw.
Because you're with me. That was the best game of the year so far.
Oh
right?
yeah,
okay.
Yeah. That game was fantastic. It was edge of your seat stuff all the way to the end,
and the ending was so.
Ryan Day.
Yeah, how do you do that in that scenario?
So Ryan Day. I think that's going to be a very good game. I don't think it tops it.
Dan?
Sell, because no matter who wins, we're not going to get the same reaction out of the winning coach that we got out of Dan Lanning.
Yeah.
Isn't it just so great? Under 40-year-old coaches, it's like, oh, we have emotions. We're excited about winning football games, and we're excited about the way that we won. It's great. I don't think we're going to see anything better than Ohio State, Oregon.
We'll forego 5 here because I want to get John's thought on this. We want to go let our guest from Omaha South in. The end of the game.
Yep.
Where Dan Lanning chooses to, self-admittedly today, with maybe the biggest grin I've ever seen on a human being in my life. First of all, two-part question here. He admitted that they did intentionally put 12 men out on the field because he knew that they were going to have time for two plays and he wanted to run more clock off, and he figured he would just stop them. A, are you more surprised that he admitted to doing it on purpose, or B, that they actually did it?
Not surprised that they did it because coaches always have, like the smart coaches anyway, there's always someone who's given them a loophole, right? Like the games are dissected. The rules are,
they've practiced this.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
These are the things that make you great. This is what makes great teams. It's called attention to detail, right? And so I'm not surprised at all that they did it. A little bit surprised, perhaps, that he actually admitted to it, because admitting to it now, you see what's happened on the back end of it.
Yeah.
We're talking about rules changes and administrative things, and maybe we need to change this. Like, don't give away your secrets, man.
I really hope like Ryan Day becomes really petty about this and gets just mad about this. And at some point, maybe against Michigan, when they're driving down the field at the end of the game, just sends like 60, like everybody that's a defender just runs out onto the field. I think it'd be great.
Yeah, it's but I mean, how can you resist though when you pull off something that baller to not tell everybody about it?
I mean,
he didn't.
I'm
telling you right now.
Look at his posture on the sideline.
That was a 100% happy accident.
No way.
Dan Lanning is not that
No,
smart.
I won't.
Dan,
hear it,
he
Dan.
literally grabbed the closest person to him and shoved him out on the field and just pointed and said, "Go out there." It was 100% by design.
Okay.
Like they just, it was their side of the field. And he said, "We can just stick an extra body right here." Boom.
I just, when he admitted to it today, I was like, "There's no way you did that on purpose."
No, I think they told him not to. I think they told him, "Don't go out there and tell him you did this on purpose." And I think he knows his own poker face. Is like, I'm not going to be able to keep this one in. Yeah, I absolutely 100% knew what I was doing.
Dan Lanning hit the "What's up, dog?"
Yeah, pretty
What's
much.
up?
Pretty
What's
much.
up? I'm Dan Lanning.
Hey, if you missed Buy or Sell tonight, check it out at soundcloud.com/afterhours1620, wherever you may find your podcast at. It was brought to you by Controlled Comfort Heating and Air. It is fall, and you know what that means? You need to get the maintenance done on your HVAC unit so you can be prepared and not hanging out with Jack Frost in your living room this winter. Head over to controlledcomfort.com, set up a maintenance appointment so you can have peace of mind about your furnace this winter. They're also going to take a look at your AC unit, make sure that summer and spring didn't take too much of a toll on that as well. We'll be right back. Catch up with the boys of Omaha South for their basketball program here on 1620 The Zone.
Do you need good legal advice? Because there's plenty of bad legal advice out there. You can find it everywhere. You can find it on Facebook. You can find it at your local corner store. But if you're looking for good legal advice, the kind of legal advice that comes from a man who goes on the radio and discusses the high-level legal situations facing the sports world in today's current, widely, drastically changing climate, then you need to get a hold of Bob at Williams Law. John Schreiner here for Williams Law. Give him a call at 402-522-6317 and get yourself some free legal advice. That's right. If you call Bob, he's going to give you a free, no-obligation legal consultation. He'll analyze your case, explain your rights, walk you through every step of the process, and detail how he would defend your specific situation. Give him a call at 402-522-6317 and get your legal questions answered. Or check out williamslawllc.com.
7:25 on a Tuesday night here on 1620 The Zone, brought to you by Pyramid Contractors. You don't become the number one roofer in Omaha for over a decade by accident. Head over to pyramidroof.com and book a free estimate today. Joining us in studio is the head coach of the boys basketball program at Omaha South, Ben Gillen. He's joined by his assistant coach. Is it Randall Crutcher? Joins us in studio as well. He's brought a few players with him. Marius Cantu, Jaden Villaforte Spears, and AJ Southward join us as well. Coach, what is different about heading into this season than it was a year ago?
Yeah, we this is my third year here up at South, and this is kind of the first year that I get quite a few of my players back.
Sure.
Right. My first year we were senior heavy. Those guys kind of left. We got some new guys in. Brand new team last year. Only two of them had ever played with each other before, right? And now we return 14 of the guys who were on the team last year. 7 of them were freshmen, so just getting older again, understanding that level of play. It's really exciting because that is a process, right? And it's good having that relationship going in with the kids, developing that culture, having them have that understanding. So
6 wins a year ago, probably not the level of success that you at South or the South basketball community in general is used to having. What were some of the lessons you took from last season that you can apply to this year?
Just being unapologetic with the culture.
Yeah.
Honestly. There was, like I said, with the 7 kids that were freshmen last year, that's a culture shock. Our very first game, we were at Central. That's a heck of an environment to be in, right?
Sure.
So now
some
having
familiar
those
faces
guys,
across the court too.
Right. So just having those guys, again, just understanding that culture, not starting from scratch. That's huge.
What is the response from the community been like? Because
amazing.
Yeah. Okay.
It's been amazing. They came in, saw what I've been trying to do.
Coach Northcutt said the same thing too, by the way.
Yeah, I'm sure. And one of the first things that I was able to do that, everyone looks at the wins and losses, and I get that. That's part of, varsity sports out here for sure.
Yeah.
But one of the
fair or unfair, in your opinion?
Fair. I mean, that's important, right?
I think it's different. I think it's different for everybody.
You play to win the game, right?
Yeah.
But there's more to high school sports than just that. So you look at it. When I took over, our program GPA was a 1.4. Last year, we got above a 3.5 weighted, and stuff like that.
Sure.
So just, I understand grades and the athletic competitiveness are different, but the fact that we were able to get these guys to buy in, make that our standard, be elite at something, and now we're going to start carrying that more and more and more over into our gameplay and our accountability. So,
you mentioned that C word, culture. So
Yes.
let's dig into it a little
Few
bit.
times.
What are some of the hallmarks of culture that you look for in a team?
yeah, I mean, at this level, you always get people saying like, man, this team's going to be amazing, or this team, doesn't have a chance, right? And then you hear the Cinderella stories at the high school level, hell, even the college level, right? But it's always who can work hard, work together. You get those really talented teams that don't do that, they don't perform very well. You get the not so talented teams that do that, and they're a real problem for any team.
Sure.
Right. So that's, getting the guys to understand that, see that, and that's a process.
Let's talk to one of the guys that helps with that process. Randall Crutcher, assistant coach
Absolutely.
at Omaha South, joins us as well. You and I talk a lot, and anytime you're talking about your guys, the guys that you guys have brought into this program or you've worked with since they were at the youth age, you light up about it and you're happy about it. What about developing at South has changed in the last 2 years?
Well, the main thing that developed is that the team is no longer shocked by my abrasiveness.
Oh, are you abrasive?
I'm abrasive.
Okay.
And what is expected. We are talking about holding yourself accountable. It's a funny joke that sometimes I'm wandering through the halls because I teach there. I'm wandering through the halls. I'm hunting someone down because I got an email from someone not doing something. And
So that's serious. We're hunting them.
Yes,
Okay.
hunting them down, making sure that they're held accountable, because what we are trying to do is and I told you this before when I was developing my AU guys, the first thing was the step of making sure that they can get to high school. Second step is making sure that they're ready to go to college and play. All right. That's to me a success right there.
Yeah.
Like I said, last year we struggled. We didn't get the wins that we wanted, but we were building a culture and getting things started. What I was happy about that we had 4 seniors. 3 of them are all playing college ball now because they
That's
went
awesome.
through it, and we told them, this is what we expect. If you do this, we're going to work hard for you, and you go. And the guys are buying into the program and buying into that, and they see that there is success from there. And so that's one thing that I think that we have their focus going into this year.
Correct me if I'm wrong, and if I'm off base here, and I know you're going to tell me, but
oh yeah, you know it.
Recruiting's a thing at high school level now, right? Like if you're having a conversation with kids that are 7th and 8th grade, you want them to come play for your high school. You're having a conversation. Does it help when you're having a conversation because it's open enrollment? We see kids on one roster, and then May 1st happens, and they're somehow in a completely different state or something, right?
That's true.
Yes. When you're having those conversations at AAU camps, at youth groups, things like that, and you could point and say, look, we have 4 kids. We were here for 2 years. We have 4 kids that are now playing college basketball. Does that help you guys, for lack of a better term, pitch?
It does. It definitely does. The recruitment part came pretty well because, I was all through the AU situation program.
Yeah.
And so kids are wanting to come there because they see that I've been working, that some of the people that we've got in here have worked with people that they respect in the AU.
And you're a local celebrity.
Yeah, yeah. I guess we'll take that. You heard that, fellas, local celebrity. But yeah, like our freshman that we got in this year, Ben and I were paying attention to we want to look at the local area.
Yeah.
We were paying attention to the Mars Middle School because it's down the street from us. We became good with Jared Swieger, who was one of the coach, who was the coach there. And I think we have a very talented freshman class that's coming in. The great thing about it is we can actually develop them at a better timetable than last year. It was a shock to the system. We had 4 of our freshmen playing varsity, and some of them maybe weren't ready right away. Now
most aren't.
Right.
It's a necessity.
They have taken great steps this year, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they do this year. But now that we have the freshmen that we have in, they can go ahead and play at their pace. We can develop them with our coaches and then slowly move them up, and they can earn their spots and go from there. So that's one of the things that I'm super proud about, and we're starting to build that culture. I just talked to Coach Swieger today and told him, send me the schedule for middle school because we're going to be popping our heads in there again.
That's right. Coach Gilliland mentioned unapologetic culture. You talk about abrasive accountability. In this day, in this age, how do you find that the young men are receptive to that abrasive accountability and unapologetic culture without going so far as to impact their confidence?
Right. Well,
it's a fine line to walk, I think.
I don't attack their play. I attack how they hold themselves accountable. That is it. I am all about give them good news, tell them what I need to correct, and then give them good news again and go from there. They are learning that there is no gray with Randall.
Keep in mind they get to talk after you, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay, all right.
They'll tell you.
Made sure
they'll tell you we got 5 flights of stairs they can run if I don't like what they say. But the whole thing is there is no gray with me. I am this is what I'm expecting. If you don't do this, expect to be hearing from me.
Sure.
Go from there. And the excuses, all I get to do is look them in the eye and kind of shake my head up and down and be like, okay, and now that you've told me that, this is your punishment. So thank you. Save your breath. You might need that on your deathbed when you get older. So
all right. Well, I talk to you all the time. I don't want to talk to you.
No
I'm going to talk to the players you're probably with. We'll talk to Marius Conte, who joins us at the studio. Marius, for you, you return for your senior season this year. What do you expect to be different about Omaha South's basketball team this year versus a year ago?
The culture and the environment that we're playing in.
Coach Randall, serious about those 5 flights of stairs? Have you ever had? Yeah.
A little eye roll in there as well. So, okay. Splash Mountain might be one of the greatest nicknames I've ever heard in my life. So how did this come to be? You got to explain this.
I'm 6'8", and I could shoot the ball. I could dribble.
Can you scoot up the microphone real quick, just a little bit? Yeah, there you go. Is that a big deal for you to be able to be that big of a utility player where you can seemingly play all 5 positions on the floor?
Yeah, it's
Why? Why is that a big deal? Because it feels like that's a conversation that's happening at almost every level now, where positionless basketball has become a thing and everybody's got to be able to do it.
Because the game has evolved where we're not all one position.
Who are you excited about to play with on the court this year? We've heard about these freshmen that are coming in. There's 2 other upperclassmen with you here this year. Who are you excited to be on the court with this season?
I'm gonna say Jaden because we're able to get the mismatches in between each other, and and the whole team basically, because we're all a tight group, and
All right, so you're heading into your final year of high school basketball. Can you describe what your experience has been like at Omaha South?
my experience at Omaha South is amazing. It's been fun, and we can't wait for.
Other than those 5 levels of stairs, everything else has been pretty good.
Yeah.
Marius, thanks for being here, man. We appreciate it. We'll talk to Jaden. Jaden Villaforte Spears joins us in studio. Jaden, scoring the basketball or getting more rebounds? What's been the biggest focus on your offseason?
So far for right now, probably scoring. Last year I was really productive kind of on the hustling end of things, but I needed to focus on putting the ball in the basket more. And that's just a big focus for this year, because being in a bigger leadership role than I was even last year, I got to lead those guys, and it's got to start off somewhere. Even just seeing the ball go in the basket for the first time, it kind of gets people going, whether it's yourself or your teammates.
Talk to Coach a little bit about this. Expectations at South for boys basketball are always high. How can you help this team get back to the top of Class A?
Just setting a good example. Making sure the younger kids get to classes, do all that stuff, take care of the grades so they're eligible to play, do all that stuff.
You out there hunting with Coach Crutch?
No, I don't hunt like he does. But, I talk to a lot of the underclassmen here and there, making sure they're doing the right things and all that stuff. It's a process that they have to go through, but they'll understand eventually, when they're older, and they'll be on the same wavelength as me eventually.
What's different about you this year? Because we obviously had you in here a year ago. You were a little bit more sunshine and rainbows, happy guy. You look like you're on a business trip right now. Is that the difference?
Yeah, basketball is, strictly business. You go out there, not everybody's your friend. You might be homies with them off the court, but, on the court, it's a completely different story. There's a narrative to basketball that you have to stick to. And, if you want to be successful, it's not all sunshines and rainbows. It's gonna change. It's gonna be different. You're gonna win. You're gonna lose. It's gonna be ups and downs. You just got to stay focused.
So what's been your focus getting ready for the season?
Just staying in the gym, elevating everything, working out, 3-4 times a week at least. Staying in the gym, getting shots up, working on the things I need to work on, ball handle, shooting the ball. Because I had to be, all around. Like Mar said earlier, the game has evolved. You can't just be like, I can score the ball, but I can't play defense. You got to be able to do everything if you want to be successful.
What's basketball look like for you after high school?
I got a few looks right now at the college level, but no scholarships yet.
Keyword there,
just trying to keep going, put myself out there a little bit more and trust the process.
Jaden, we appreciate you being here. Thanks, man. We appreciate it. We'll talk to one of your newest teammates. AJ Southward joins us here on After Hours. We're talking to the Omaha boys basketball team at Omaha South. This is your first year at South. What are you most excited about when you're joining this program?
I've been on some good teams in the past. I'm excited to kind of test what I can do right now, see if I can contribute on the varsity level, and kind of help build up the South basketball culture and narrative.
Best hair in the Metro?
Nah.
No? Okay.
You don't have the best hair in the Metro?
Nah, it's too difficult to deal with.
Oh, okay.
Okay. All right.
I could use some of it, man.
I know it's always a tough decision to make, right? When you're deciding to change schools. It comes with a lot of pitfalls. It can go wrong. What went into the decision for you to change schools, and why did you choose South?
Honestly, just the main thing for me was the culture and the coaching. Our coaching staff really cares about what we do off the court, almost as much as we do on the court. They really care about keeping us accountable and making sure the culture comes, as well as I was playing AAU for Omaha Elite this year. I saw a good bit of them, and I've also heard really good things about them from AAU coaches, such as Coach Archie. So that was a big factor.
You're wearing a unique necklace tonight. Who's on your pennant?
That's my aunt.
And her name is?
Sharon.
Okay, just want to make sure she got a shout out. How when you're this close to tip off, what have you seen out of this team that you're excited about?
We just came off fall ball, so we had a couple wins in there. And we didn't have our full team, of course, because sometimes guys are in football or they're have other activities they're in because it's the fall.
It's fall,
season.
yeah.
But I will say when we did have the guys on the court, we gelled really well together, and we got a real good chance to kind of bond and just mix. And on the court, it felt like a big family. So I'm really excited to see where that'll take us, and seeing how competitive we can be.
You're the new kid. Being the new kid's never easy, right? How have your teammates made you feel like you're part of the crew?
Coming into this season, being the new kid, I hadn't really proven anything yet. But as I showed the guys, I kind of had like the same goal as them, and I wanted the same thing as them. We all kind of got on the same wavelength, and they treat me like a brother.
AJ, thanks for being here tonight, man. We greatly appreciate it. Coach Ben, we'll go back to you to wrap this up. We're catching up with Ben Gillen, the head coach of Omaha South's boys basketball program, and his Packers here on After Hours. Coach, and we talk about not only taking the next step and maybe doubling that win total, but maybe making a trip down to Lincoln and punching that ticket. What does that look like?
Honestly, right now, where my mindset's been at is just how can we continue to get these dudes. I know I've said the word culture like 10 times to you guys.
We'll get the official count for you.
Yeah. But just getting these dudes to understand what is expected. How do you hold yourself to a level where we can be very good? Because quite frankly, last year we're better than the amount of wins that we had from a talent standpoint.
Sure.
There's a culture thing there. So really buying into that, pushing that's what's going to take care of it. Our schedule looks very good, especially for where we're at as a team. I think that it allows us to really, buy into the foundation that we're setting and keep proving time and time again and building time and time again that, this is how we're growing together. And again, the three leaders here have been very pivotal for that.
Yeah.
Right. A couple shout outs here. AJ getting it absolutely done in the classroom, transferred in with a 4.3 GPA.
It's awesome. Man.
Marius, behaviorally amazing, big growth. And then Jaden is actually on the superintendent's council for OPS, which is huge. The district, nominated him in there. So, just having really good dudes in the program. And it's not just these three, it's all 15 that we're going to carry. They've earned it in one way or another. Now let's get together and really work this thing and, start competing at that level and figure it out over the season.
Coach, we appreciate you being here tonight. Yeah. If you missed the Packers segment tonight, check it out at soundcloud.com/afterhours1620, wherever you find your podcast at. It was brought to you by AX Plumbing, home or residential. They can do it all. Check out axpservice.com for your plumbing, water heater, gas piping, or backflow prevention issues. AX Plumbing is locally owned and operated. And leave your home or business cleaner than they found it. We're going to tell you what our trash takes about the game against Indiana are going to look like when we come back here on 1620 The Zone.
Hey everybody, John Schreiner here for Cunningham's Pub and Grill. Tomorrow, it's Wing Wednesday. You can participate along with us. Get yourself some of those delicious smoked wings from one of the two great locations for Cunningham's, whether you're near Old Mill or Blackstone. You will not regret it. I promise you, they are the best wings in Omaha. Get them with the blueberry sriracha if you're feeling a little bit adventurous. The buffalo is delicious. It's a different kind of buffalo than you've ever had before. Or if you're feeling a little spicy, get the 4-alarm. They are also tremendous. Not too hot. Good flavor, also with a little bit of a kick. Cunningham's, you can't go wrong with the wings. Participate tomorrow. Retweet the GIF. Follow us on Twitter or Facebook. You're going to be entered into a drawing for a $25 gift card to Cunningham's. And check them out on Sunday morning for some brunch and the NFL games all over on the TVs. It's Cunningham's Pub and Grill, and never do it wrong.
shutting her down on a Tuesday night. Thank you to both the boys and girls basketball team from Omaha South for joining us. If you're tuning in for the Packers and you missed their segment, head over to 1620thezone.com under our radio replay page. Click on After Hours and listen to it there. It is last call. We're going to win you some money in college football this weekend. I'll go ahead and start us off. Duke on Friday night hosts Florida State. Duke is -3 at home. That team has quit in Tallahassee, and I think Duke absolutely rolls at home on a Friday night. Give me the under of 50.5 in Indiana, Nebraska this weekend as well. It is an away game this weekend. You can stop by Warhorse Casino and bet on Nebraska. Over under is 50.5. I don't think Nebraska's defense is too good to allow that many points, and their offense is too stagnant to score that many. So give me the under in Saturday's game against Indiana, and then Vandy will be the first to 35 and the only to 35 against Boise State. That is plus 645.
All right. I've got Kansas State -3 at West Virginia.
I love that bet.
I think K-State is one of the top 3 teams in the Big 12. I think West Virginia's not.
That's a fair assessment.
Give me Ball State and Vanderbilt over 58.5. Ball State has one of the worst defenses in America, and Vanderbilt is feeling themselves.
Vandy might score 58 by themselves.
Ball State's given up 60 twice already this season. So give me that over. And then I'm also on the Florida State Duke game, but I think we see a tie at the end of the first quarter. Something like a 7-7, 10-10, something like that.
0-0.
0-0.
It's a possibility.
Possibility. Yep.
To the least formidable chooser of bets in this room, we go Dan Campinen.
I'm really bad at this game.
1 for 5 or 2 for 2 and 4 last week in your bets.
All right. Well, I'll take it. I'll take that. At least someone made some money somewhere if they, picked the right stuff. Oklahoma State and BYU are playing this weekend. Give me the over of 53 points in that game. Could be foolish. Who really knows?
Sounds foolish.
Well,
BYU's defense is smotheringly good.
BYU's offense is good enough to score.
Oklahoma State's defense is very bad. I will say that. So it's not. You're 50% right here, Dan, I think.
Yeah, Oklahoma State just forgot how to run the football.
Well, then let's just laugh at how bad this next one's probably going to be then as well, because Notre Dame -11.5 over Georgia Tech. Buy that line up. I don't think Georgia Tech's going to be that good against Notre Dame this weekend. And then
the game's in Atlanta, right? Sorry, keep going.
Go for it, Dan. You got it, buddy.
Right.
Rock and roll.
YOLO.
And then for some reason, the line for USC and Maryland is set at 32.5. Give me the over in that one.
Okay.
The over-under is 32.5.
No. Excuse me.
I was like, what?
I read it completely wrong.
Is that the first half, maybe?
No. It's total points by USC. Give me over 32.5 on
I
that.
was trying to figure out where you were getting this number from.
Excuse me.
No, I like that. Okay. Over 32.5. I can see that.
Yep.
I can see that. It's in Maryland, though.
It's a cross-country trip, which is tough.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think Maryland's very bad, though.
Get those boys up.
In case you're wondering, USC 1-3 in the Big Ten, by the way.
Yeah.
Not a great start. Welcome to the Big Ten, USC.
Changing conferences? Not easy.
Unless you're Dan Lanning and you can break all the rules. Speaking of that, Purdue goes to Oregon. Oregon goes to Purdue on Friday night. The total of that game is 60.5. There's a chance Oregon scores 60 points on Purdue.
There's a chance.
Right? Yeah. I don't think that's necessarily out of the realm.
Nebraska made Purdue look way better than they are.
Yeah. So Nebraska in Indiana is this weekend, obviously. Indiana is gaining a lot of
your trash take
comparison-ish. They're garnering a lot of comparison to Colorado. Is that a fair comparison?
No.
I don't think so either.
Not at all. Here's my trash take. Indiana is actually not very good.
Okay. So you think Colorado's better then?
Yeah. I think Colorado would whip Indiana.
Oof. I don't know about that, man.
All right.
Okay. Listen to me now. Listen to me. The teams that Indiana has played.
Are you not entertained?
Florida International.
Not good.
Western Illinois, FCS.
Leathernecks, cool name. Not good at football.
UCLA, who you just said is the worst team in the Big Ten.
Maybe the worst team in Power 4 football.
Charlotte.
They're the 49ers.
Very
That's all
bad.
I'd say about them.
Maryland, who just got boat raced by Northwestern and Northwestern. That's who Indiana's played, and we're afraid of the Hoosiers.
Okay, I'm not saying
No
I'm
way.
afraid of them.
But Curtis Rourke has
Nope.
thrown for
Nope.
1,752 yards and
He's
14
currently
touchdowns.
5th in the Heisman odds.
Indiana is 6-0, and let me tell you right now, they will not be ranked at the end of the season.
Ooh.
And here's a fun fact about that Curtis Rourke passing stat that I just gave you. He's only been pressured on 20% of his throws from the backfield.
Garbage teams.
And
I'm not going to lie,
on that
Dan.
20%,
That number is higher than I thought it would be.
It is higher than I thought it was going to be too.
That's
I
my
read
trash
it and I
take.
automatically went, huh?
That's my trash take, is that Indiana will not be ranked at the end of the
Here's
season.
Crutcher looked at me like, what is going on over here?
Here's what I'll tell you about Curtis Rourke and that number, though. He has completed 74% of his passes. And I don't care if there's not even anybody standing out there. That's pretty impressive. Like, that number is pretty impressive. Whether they're good or not is not what I'm debating here by saying this. The fact that he's been able to transfer into Indiana with a first-year head coach and have this level of success, complete 74% of his passes in 6 games, that's pretty impressive.
If Nebraska had played the same schedule that
They'd be
Indiana
6-0.
has, Dylan Raiola might have completed 90% of his passes.
I don't think anybody against any schedule could complete 90% of their passes.
I'm being facetious,
I know
but
you
you know
are.
what I mean.
Yeah, my biggest thing for this weekend is with only being pressured that 20% of the time on those dropbacks.
That number's going up.
It is going to go way up because Nebraska is 10th in pass rush grade according to PFF right now.
Yeah,
It's going to be a whole new level of defense that they haven't seen. And I just really hope that for Nebraska's sake, we have something figured out in the run game on offense. And
they're selling out.
We have something figured out within the passing game to actually get everyone open.
My trash take was actually going to be that they're going to sell out, make Dylan Raiola beat them. My new trash take is Curtis Rourke has been sacked 5 times on the season. He's sacked 10 times on the season by the end of Saturday.
I am more confident in Nebraska beating Indiana than I was about Nebraska beating Purdue.
Wow. That is a hot take. And you can listen to all of our hot takes whenever you'd like, anytime at soundcloud.com/afterhours1620. It was brought to you by our friends at Warhorse Casino and Sportsbook. Yes, over at 63rd and Q. You can stop by right now and place a bet on Nebraska, Indiana this weekend. They've got table games, they've got slots, and that Sportsbook is open. If you or someone you know is facing a gambling problem, call 402-806-7344. For Dan Campen and John Schreiner, I've been Jimmy Allen. Happy National Cheese Curd Day, everybody.
Fried only.